From the myths and legends of its creation to its military and economic power, from its system of governance to its achievements in culture and science, the history of Rome continues to influence the world even today. The mythical roots of Rome begin in the city of Alba Longa. There, the newborn twins Romulus and Remus, sons of Mars and a priestess, were condemned to death by their great-uncle. According to legend, a she-wolf saved them, and a shepherd raised them. When they grew up, they decided to found a city. A dispute arose between the two over its name. To avoid violence, they chose to let the gods show their will. Each climbed a different hill and had to count the birds flying overhead. It was believed that whoever saw more would earn the right to choose the city's name. Thus fate gave the advantage to Romulus. As king, Romulus turned Rome into a refuge city, where people of all kinds from the surrounding area could find shelter. Because of the lack of women, the Romans abducted young women from neighboring tribes, an event known as the abduction of the Sabine women. Nevertheless, Romulus and the Sabine king later established joint rule. What followed was a series of troubled reigns marked by sudden and often violent deaths. The Sabine king Titus Tatius was killed during a revolt, and Romulus disappeared during a storm. The myth claims he became a god, though it is more likely he was murdered. The second king, Numa Pompilius, created important Roman customs and institutions: the 12-month calendar, the Vestal Virgins, and the office of Pontifex. After him ruled 5 more kings, the last of whom, Tarquinius Superbus, was deposed for his tyrannical behavior. Thus, in the 6th century BC, the Roman Republic was born. At first, power was held by several aristocratic families, the patricians. The plebeians, though the majority, were excluded. Between 494 and 287 BC, a series of protests led to major reforms: the creation of the plebeian council, the election of tribunes, and the recording of laws in the 12 tables. Progress was slow, and the poor felt little change. Over the following centuries, the Republic waged almost constant wars until it subdued all of Italy. By 130 BC, Rome was already a Mediterranean power, expanded further after the Punic Wars with Carthage. The consul Marius reformed the army, allowing the wealthy to maintain private forces, something that later led to civil wars. In 88 BC, the general Sulla marched on Rome with his army, won, and became consul. In 49 BC, tensions rose again. Julius Caesar, after his victories in Gaul, crossed the Rubicon and marched against the Senate and his former ally Pompey. Pompey lost the battle, fled to Egypt, and was killed there on the orders of Ptolemy XIII. It was in Egypt that Caesar met Cleopatra, with whom he began his famous relationship. In Rome, Caesar became even more popular due to his clemency toward his opponents. The Senate made him ruler for 10 years, and later he declared himself dictator for life. This was the final straw, and in March 44 BC he was assassinated by a group of senators. After his death, another civil war erupted between Mark Antony, Cleopatra, and Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir. Octavian prevailed, and Egypt became a Roman province. Thus the Republic came to an end. The early Roman Empire. Octavian, now bearing the name Augustus, was recognized as the first emperor in 27 BC. Although he maintained the appearance that the Republic still existed, real power lay in his hands. During his long rule, the empire prospered, roads were built, the army was organized, a guard was created, and a major renovation of Rome began. Expansion continued, but the defeat in Germany in 9C halted ambitions in that direction. After Augustus came Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, and Nero, each with a complicated and often dark history. Nero, blamed for the fire of 64C, committed suicide at the Senate's insistence. After a year of chaos, the general Vespasian took power. He stabilized the empire, began construction of the Colosseum, and passed the throne to his sons Titus and Domitian. He was followed by the dynasty of Nerva and the Antonines, a period often considered Rome's Golden Age, with emperors such as Trajan, Hadrian, and Marcus Aurelius. The reign of Commodus, however, led to a new decline. Commodus's death began a period of instability known as the imperial crisis. Dozens of rulers succeeded one another through plots and assassinations. In 284 CE, Diocletian introduced a new system, dividing the empire and creating a rule of 4. This brought temporary stability, but the persecution of Christians left lasting consequences. Constantine the Great and the End. After new conflicts, Constantine rose as the sole ruler. He legalized Christianity and founded a new capital city, Constantinople. Later, the empire was divided again. In 476 CE the western part fell, while the eastern part, Byzantium, survived until 1453. Thus ended the nearly 1,000-year history of the Roman Empire.